Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter, and we are here for day 3, challenge number 2. We got people jumping in the chat right now. Make sure that if you're watching this over on YouTube, you come on over to Behance, because that's where the party is, folks. Follow the link there that's posted and join us in the chat. We got Sam Peterson moderating. Everybody else is slowly but surely dripping into the chat today, and we are doing some exciting things on this fine. Is it Wednesday already? It sure is. Hey, quick side note, it's my birthday. Today's my birthday and I get to do a stream with you guys, so I'm really excited about that. We are gonna jump over to my screen so you can see what we are doing, because Abhishek Kumar is here in the chat. Let me know where you're coming from and what your favorite type of Wednesday morning drink is. Let me know. Is it coffee? Is it tea? Is it matcha? Is it LaCroix? Is it La Croix? Is it water? I don't know. Masayu's in the chat. Annie Young is in the chat, and they are here for the creative challenge that is building your XD and UI UX design skills in 9 challenges. All you got to do is come over to behance.net/challenge/XD, hit that big blue button, receive those challenges each day, jump into the Discord where you can post your work, watch the daily show, and then share your work there. Today we are building a little VPN application. That's a virtual private network. We're going to be building that VPN, so make sure you get your starting file there. And again, we have our Discord over here. We're going to be checking in on our Discord server and reviewing some of your amazing work when we're done with today's challenge. All right, so with that being said, let's jump over to our challenge, our starting file, which you'll have access to. Head over to the little challenge tab, get your starting file. Rumi says happy birthday to me. Their birthday was on Monday. Amazing. August babies in the house. Hope the VPN can get us streaming Adobe Live from Mars. Yeah, we hope that as well. All right, well, thank you for the birthday wishes. Let's zoom in and see what our project is. Challenge number 2, design a prototype, a mobile VPN experience where users can select their country that they want to activate using the VPN. Got that inspiration and those resources, and our starting resources that you have are an artboard, has a little bit of text on here, and an icon. Yours may or may not have those. That's all right, but you definitely have this big map and a bunch of flags to use today. That's what we're going to be working with. Today I'm using Montserrat, which if you are trying to figure out some good fonts, head over to fonts.adobe.com. I found this great little pack that's just the Design Foundations pack. I have all of them actively installed because I have Adobe Creative Suite, the Creative Cloud application on my computer. And so I have all of these with their multiple weights. A fun place to browse for typography, all right? So what we want to do is a really simple application where users can turn the VPN on, and then they can switch countries of origin where they'd like that VPN, that private network, to route their internet connection through, okay? Got that little power icon, but we have this really fun kind of dot grid kind of map thing that's happening. And so let's play with that really quick. Let's get a fun visual here. The first thing I'm going to do is just zoom in, and I'm going to hit R for rectangle. I'm going to drag out a little rectangle, which is going to end up being my frame. All right, I'm going to frame this thing out. I'm going to mask this thing out. Let's make it gray so you can see it real quick. Remove the border. Beautiful. That's what we need. And then we're going to drag it over onto our map image here. I'm going to grab both of them. I'm going to say mask with shape. Okay, so I'm just masking the shape there, but then what I want to do is something a little bit tricky. I want to come inside to my world map and turn on 3D, and why don't we give some fun kind of perspective to our map and then move that around so it's not such a flat object, but no, there's some fun 3-dimensionality to it, but then the whole thing is still masked and framed inside of our shape. We're going to move that up. Love that. Pop that right into place. I'm going to use Command or Alt left bracket to make sure we move it all the way to the back, right? So it's in the back. And then I'm just going to bring the opacity of that thing down. And now once we're here, you can always double click into your map, okay? And you can select the map itself. Maybe we don't want it to cut off. Maybe we just want a little bit of Africa, that continent in there. Or maybe we liked it how it was. I don't want South America dripping down so far. So I'm going to do something like this, and I'm going to grab my mask shape and just bring the mask down so the whole thing can kind of be seen, right? Tracking with what I'm doing there? So far, so good. I'm just going to bring that up a little bit, actually. I think that works well for us. And we don't need the whole thing. Perfect. Now we have this really fun kind of like 3D, kind of like masked shape behind it. I almost just feel like I want a little bit more, just a little bit more direction there. Yeah, something like that. That looks way cooler. Okay. All right. With that being said, this is just going to be, let's make this the main screen where users can turn on the VPN. We got this big power button. Let's play with it. I'm going to zoom in. Where did I get this power button icon? I actually use an app called Iconjar. It houses all of my icons. I can keep them, go back to them, search for them. So that's where I pulled that one. We're probably also going to need some sort of like map pin. How about directions? What do we get for directions? How about a pin? Yeah, almost there. Like kind of like this map pin, something like one of those. Let's look at, oh, location. That's what we probably want to search for. Beautiful. What I like about Iconjar is I can just grab and then it removes the application out of my way and I can just drop it onto my design file. So we're probably going to need one of these as well. So wherever you get your icons, get you some icons. There's some great plugins. Actually, let's show a few plugins. We actually do have the Icons for Design plugin, which is a pretty decent one if you're looking for some designs, or excuse me, some iconography. But there's also the Streamline icon pack that has its own plugin inside of Adobe XD. Highly recommend that one as well. Now, when we're scaling icons, keep this in mind, that as you scale it, the size changes, but because this is an outlined icon, we actually need to change the size of the outline itself as well, right? So what do we have? We had 8 pixels there, or the stroke width of 8. Bring that down. We probably want to do something similar, but as it's smaller, it's got to be a little bit less, right? So that things look similar, okay? Now you don't have to worry about that if they're filled icons, but I can nerd out about icons all day. Don't worry about me. Let's do this. Let's just shrink this guy down a little bit. Again, we're going to take the size of it down so it's not so overpowering. Let's hit E for ellipse. Pop an ellipse in there. I'm just going to center this thing. Take the border off and let's pick a fun color. Not this purple. Let's do something a little bit more kind of techie, kind of inspired. How about kind of a... almost like, yeah, we want a nice seafoam bluish kind of green deal going on there. That'd be kind of fun. And we'll put our icon in the middle. Let's make it white so it looks a little bit friendlier. I like that. And this is just going to be a nice big power button that you can turn on. Now, what would be cool though, that's a little bit bright actually in my opinion. So we might just chill this out a little bit more to the blue side. And then, yeah, I kind of like it a little bit more on the blue turquoisey side. Anchor it with a little bit of depth there, okay? It's friendly, it's fun, it works. All right, with that being said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask those in the chat. I'd love to answer questions while I'm designing. I'm gonna take my circle and my ellipse. I'm gonna just copy paste and do a new version of it. Let's pump this up. And this time, let's do a radial gradient for this bad boy. And let's go, we want the same color. So let's grab our color. Let's actually put it in our swatches and let's rip these ones out of our swatches. Okay, that's good. Now we can come back to our radial gradient. We can play around with it and say, hey, let's make sure both sides are using the same color, but let's bring the opacity down on one of them, on the internals of that guy. That'd be good. Okay, and then let's bring the opacity of the whole thing down, bring it up here, and then just make sure we drop it behind. I'm going to press Command or Alt Y to bring my layers panel back up instead of my plugins. Okay, now that we have that, we can just kind of duplicate these, because what we want is kind of a pulsing thing that moves out from the center. You tracking with what I'm going for here? I'm kind of just want a little bit of that pulsing, and maybe we'll do and as you pulsate out, I feel like it should probably get less visual, or a little more opaque, excuse me. So let's do another one. I'm just gonna duplicate, copy paste behind like that, and stretch this one out one more, and this one should be barely visible, like 2%. Let's zoom in so you can kind of see it. I kind of dig it. I'm into it. It could be a little bit better, but we'll work on it. We'll get there, right? All right, hello to Tomas and John, Chris Olson in the house, the Adongo, everybody's here. The whole crew is here today. Let's grab this whole thing, and let's actually take our map. We're gonna move this to the very back, and then let's just lock it so we don't mess with it anymore. And let's take this whole thing here and group that together and just call this our power button in our layers. See how we're kind of organizing things a little bit? Beautiful. Okay. With that being said, we got our power button. We got, let's make this the same kind of green color. Like, let's show that we are connected. And then maybe we can have our map just unlock it really quick. Let's bring it down to like more like 4 or 3% so it's not interrupting us. We want good contrast and clarity between a little bit of decoration, a little bit of spice, but we also want good clarity, okay? Let's do something a little bit smaller. So let's drop this down to 20. Let's pick a nice neutral, or we could go black actually. Let's go an off black color, and we'll drop down from semi-bold, medium to regular. Where are we connected to? Let's be connected to Spain, okay? Drop that underneath, maybe down to 18, so there's some good contrast there. Good, I like that. I'm just gonna group these together and turn on stack. It's gonna automatically give me a vertical stack, and I can control the spacing of my stack right there. But what's great is if I want to switch these up, I could, right? I like them how they are, but I always like to drop things into stacks, you know, just as I go, because that seems to be just good planning for the future, in my opinion. All right, I'm gonna do another E for lips. Let's draw a little avatar up here. I'm just gonna choose a color so you can see it for now, but I'm gonna fill this probably with a plugin that I love called UI Faces. So again, we can, any of these sources is fine for us. We're not gonna be picky. Let's select a photo. It's gonna give me some options here. Here's a friendly looking fella. Let's pick him and just apply it in there. Boom, we got ourselves an avatar. Love that. Okay, so that's probably how you'd get to your account. This is, folks, plugins. Smarter, not harder. That's the way to go, all right? Let's go over, well, what should we do? What should we do? What should we do? Maybe like an icon here? Yeah, we can do an icon. We'll figure it out. Maybe, yeah, let's do a little, tell you what, let's switch these up. Let's put Mr. Avatar over here with a white border. That's just kind of extendable for later use if we ever had to switch something in the background. Love that. And then let's go back to Iconjar and look for menu. Yeah, let's take this fella right here. A little outlined menu. Yikes, that is massive. We're gonna bring it down. It's gonna look the chunkiest ever, but that's okay. We're gonna change the size of all the elements here a little bit. Let's go back to our elements here. Wow, I don't know what happened there. Let's just get rid of that. You know what? I have a better idea. When life gives you lemons, make your own icons. That's what I always say. All right, let's do something a little bit funner anyways. All right, I'm gonna grab this, just drag it out to build my icon. I liked my off black. We want to keep that. So let's just keep reusing similar colors throughout, so we're keeping consistent. That's a little bit thick for me. And why don't we round those corners? Okay, we're gonna round the corners to it, and let's zoom in as we're building our custom little icon here. Whoop, maybe something like that. And we got, I love that smart kind of stacking that's happening there. Let's do something like that. It's literally at this point, we've seen every single kind of hamburger menu. You just got to make something crazy and have some fun with it. I do kind of like how accidentally it kind of looks like a little bit like it matches the dot grid kind of pattern of everything in the back. So I like that. All right, cool. We did that. Let's do one big tappable area. So really all we want here is to know that we're connected, it's on, and then we want to be able to turn this puppy on to a different location if we need to. So let's hit R for rectangle, kind of lining up to the edges of my icon there. We're not really using you know, proper spacing of things. We should if we had more time, but I am at least going to line things up a little bit with other elements on my canvas here. So let's take this whole thing and bring it down and zoom in, and we have that. I knew we were going to use a little location pin icon. So let's bring that down, just kind of tuck the size of this thing down really big. Let's make it white. I think white on the screen really pops. And I'm just going to use my alignment tools. Beautiful. And let's do this. Let's bring this down. These should both be white, should they not? They should. And they're a little bit big for this, right? So just a little bit big. So let's bring this down probably to 22. and we can bring this down to the minimum that I would ever go for mobile interfaces, which is 16 pixels. That keeps it real usable, okay? So we're connected to Spain, we know that, but how about other networks? How about that? Networks, woo, can't spell networks at all. Okay, and like maybe like current, oh, how many networks are available? How about like 21 available networks? Beautiful, love that. Okay, we're just keeping it simple, keeping it cool. We're gonna group the whole thing together, and let's just I mean, we're going real minimal here. I'm just gonna move this down, maybe move this up. We're playing with a little bit of spacing now, and I like it. Generally speaking, I think it's pretty simple and easy, and I kind of dig it. So it doesn't look like much, but our next screen is going to be where some of the magic happens. We're going to do some basic transitioning over, and then if we have time, we'll pulsate this little button. All right, how's that sound? Pretty cool. Okay, so if we click other networks, we should be shot over to a place where you can select different options. Okay, so we'll probably at this point, we'll move this. Actually, we'll keep that. Boom, love that. We'll turn this into, if we can, like a back arrow button. All right, instead of searching for one and failing to find one, let's just build our own really quickly, shall we? Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm just gonna hold down Shift and get some nice 45-degree angles as I kind of kick that out. Copy and paste, and boom. Ooh, I used repeat grid instead of flip that thing around, all right? Now, let's just, okay, yep. Yeah, something like that. I'm struggling building my icons right now, but I don't think you guys will judge me too much. Let's just shrink it down, make it a little bit smaller. That is the ugliest arrow I've ever built in my life, but in a rush, it'll work for us. Let's go like this. Let's go select server or network. Well, that was the terminology we were using, right? Network. Now, if we do some auto animation later on, I'm kind of thinking right now, it might be cool to, let's just bring this down in size a little bit and choose more of our black color. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm gonna take that out of the grouping there, or the stack. We don't need it to be in the stack, but we wouldn't mind matching things up between our icon. Good. And this is really big, so let's just take this down to a usable size here, something like this. And we're going to right align our text just like so, and move it to be about, it was 28 from the side. Okay, cool. So we're going to select our network. Now, it would be cool if when you clicked on one, I'm thinking, right, that we do some auto animation in between. That could be fun. Again, right? So we have this background map, and what if we like moved over to a new area, right? Kind of showcasing the transitioning of networks that you're kind of using. I like that. This thing will probably go away, and so will this thing. Although, let's just, maybe we have a search. Maybe we have a search of some kind here, okay? So let's do a little search. We'll get rid of this guy, this big piece of text. Wow, this is why we always want to lock the layers that we're not using, so we don't select things like that, okay? Let's get rid of this piece of text, and our smaller text, we're gonna move it up out of our stack again, and let's just put search networks like this. And I tell you, the search bar should never be highlighted in green. So let's pick a nice kind of neutralized gray. Ooh, probably, hello. Can we find the gray that's getting kind of used in there and save that as a swatch color? We sure can. And then we're not gonna use that icon, but let's an off gray like this, right? We wanna keep some contrast, and we're gonna get rid of this icon because we can't use that. Let's just do really quick. We're gonna search for a search. See that? All right. Bring it in. It's again massive. Now, one thing, you know, as we shrink these, you have to mess with the size and everything. You could use a fun plugin that we have called Transform Session. Let's start a transformation session. Woo, watch out. That's not the right one, is it? Yeah, that should be the right one. Apply transform. Ooh, okay, I don't know. It's messing up for some reason. So let's stay away from that plugin right now. I don't vouch for all plugins, but I do try to use them if I can. We'll just thin it out. It could be really, really easy process. Again, we could have made this icon ourselves if we really, really needed to. Okay, let's pick a nice off gray. What is that kind of off gray color we're using? Let's apply the same thing for our search icon. All right, grab our icon, zoom in so we can actually select these things and center it like so. All right, so we got a little search bar here, no problem, no biggie. But now we're gonna do the rows, and this is the majority of the rest of the interface. Hopefully we can get this done in time. I'm gonna hit R for rectangle, draw out a little rectangle here. And I like it, let's fill it with our light gray. Let's round the borders a little bit, something like that. And then let's zoom in and let's do another one inside. And what we'll do is we'll just fill it, right? Well, you know, it'd be the easiest. If we had these in our assets, we could just drag them in. But what we'll do is we'll drag in our country of origin, something like that. And we won't take the time to fill in the rest of them. But what we will do is just reuse a little bit of typography here. Just go, this one's USA. Love it. Okay. And move that right there. And then maybe we probably need like a selection. So we're going to hit E for ellipse. A little bit of a selection guy. Let's say we're active on this. Love it. We're making like a radio selection, right? So let's just drag this down, fill it with green. All right, so we've selected that one. Love that. Easy. Easiest radio select box you've ever made in your life. Gonna just center and align all of these things. Okay, and then let's just put a line at the bottom of it, and we'll make it again our light gray. Okay, that's a lot of distance and room for this line. We don't need that. Now, a little trick that you can do is, first let me just group these together, is you can draw a rectangle. I do this all the time. I kind of use it as a spacer. Okay, I'll move it to the back so you can kind of see everything, and then I'll just decide where I want it to line up with all my elements. I'll center align everything like so. And with that selected, I'll move my line up, and then I will literally just remove all of the like the fill from this. So let's just make it opaque. And now we grab all of our elements, background, everything here. Boom, group it together, Command or Control R for repeat grid. And we just drag down a bunch of selections. All right. Now from there, we could go in and fill in all of those elements, and we don't have enough time. But what you could do is create components out of these, an on and off switch, toggling on and off which ones, fill in all the different countries, and then pulsate that button. But I don't want to miss the opportunity to check out a little bit of your work today. So I'm going to head over to the Discord server, and we're going to take a look at a few projects. This one is by Davis. And it says, awesome, done. Let's check it out. This is our NFT website or login. It looks really good. I wish I could see a little bit of prototyping of some kind, but I mean, I actually love this direction visually. Color pops, super fun. Only thing I would say is watch out for your login buttons. It's hard to tell over here what's primary, what's secondary, that kind of thing. But this style over here is really, really fun. Very art gallery-esque. Really, really cool. This submission is by LMNOP. I love that name. Hello. Let's go. This is the NFT login. I love this background image. It's really, really fun. Make sure when we're using fun background images like this, we think about readability and contrast. Like maybe our login area here is a little tough to see. It's tough to see these labels. And you always want to have helper text and labels, in my opinion. But you want to be able to read all this stuff really, really good if you can. Oh, here's some people using our Medusa sculpture. This is K. Donnell. Ooh, I hope I'm saying that right. Kind of a fun kind of planet. Love the colors behind it. Really, really clean, really fun. I like that you did vertical text. We should definitely be playing with more vertical text in the work. Ooh, here's a little bit of a video prototype. Yes, cool. Fun. You kind of flip-flopped it, put it on the other side. Got a little bit of that motion. That's kind of fun. Now, what's really cool is I ran out of time yesterday, but what you can do is move from one board to another and have this thing really move around, fly around into different positions, so it doesn't look like such a loop. You know, like that's, I mean, mine ended up looking like a loop. I like this. I like the Medusa sculpture kind of looking like it's on a card, right? Because a lot of times NFTs are represented by a piece of work on a card. So I think that's a great way to do that as well. We could have gotten really, really complex and made our NFT artwork. Oh, that's kind of fun. I like those. Oh, come on. I like it. I like it a lot. That's a fun little animation, really colorful and neat. I challenge you, if you want to keep going on your NFT site, to actually separate and export all of those different pieces out from Photoshop and then 3D transform and animate them all in different kind of movements. So it's not one piece moving, but multiple pieces moving. That could be a fun challenge. Well, hey everybody, thanks for joining us today on the XD Daily Creative Challenge. Can't wait to see your VPN project submissions. Submit them on Behance and also on Discord so we can take a look, and stick around, be in Discord, because there is amazing mentors there, and stick around for amazing content here on Behance, Adobe Live. We'll see you tomorrow for the XD Daily Creative Challenge. Take care.